The 20th season of Monmouth University football keeps rolling this Saturday when the Hawks host Bryant here at Kessler Field at 1 p.m. on the homecoming celebration. We have the game covered from every angle here on GoMUHawks.com. You can listen to the game on 1160 and 1310 a.m. as well as ShoreSportsNetwork.com. It will be on Hawk Vision exclusively right here on GoMUHawks.com as well. And as always, we'd like to remind you to stay connected with the Hawks through a variety of social media outlets by liking us on Facebook, following along at Twitter, and checking out our YouTube page as well. This week is homecoming week here in West Long Branch as Monmouth hosts Bryant Saturday at 1 p.m. right here at Kessler Field, the 20th homecoming, in fact, and I'm speaking to the only head coach in Monmouth history, Kevin Callahan. Coach Callahan, homecoming week, always a big week. What do you got to say for this Bryant game?
You know, it's always a great weekend here where you always get a great crowd when the weather's good. And, you know, I know our guys are excited to be back home again. You know, we've won our first 2 home games. We're excited about being back here for Bryant. Hopefully we're going to get a nice day and have a great turnout, and our guys will be ready to go.
Yeah, Coach, between the 2 road games and the bye week, seems like you haven't played on Kessler Field in forever. And now this season, being able to come in and really make this a home field advantage has to be good for you and your team.
Well, it has been a long time since we've been home, as you mentioned. You know, we had 2 away games plus a bye in the middle there. And so I guess it's been close to a month since we played here at Kessler Field. And I know the guys are excited to be back home.
You come off a couple of road games, and you come home to face a Bryant team. You get back into NEC play after veering out of play, taking on the Ivy League's Cornell last week. How important is it to get back on track in league play?
Well, you know, it's very important. You know, the league is so competitive, and week in and week out you have to play. And, you know, Bryant comes in, and they got their first victory last week against Robert Morris. And, you know, they bring a very potent offense in here with outstanding running back, outstanding receiver. And, you know, they're doing a pretty good job on defense as well. And, you know, we're going to have to play well. We're going to have to be at our best.
Well, Coach, your offense right now, just to kind of be specific, is really clicking on all gears, both throwing the football, keeping it on the ground. Kyle Frazier, another NEC Player of the Week honor. What do you see out of them? You've got to be impressed and happy with their progress.
Oh, I am. You know, we played exceptionally well up at Cornell. You know, we kept giving ourselves an opportunity to win the game. You know, we weren't able to get the stops that we needed on the defensive side, but I was very happy with the way we kept battling as a team and as particularly as an offense. And, you know, we kept making plays to keep us in that game.
And then defensively, what do you think the unit has to clean up to go out Saturday and get a win against the Bulldogs?
Well, we have to do a much better job, as I said, on third down, but that kind of goes back to, you know, we had some different people in the lineup, and we made a number of mental mistakes, and we had some breakdowns in the secondary that allowed some big pass plays. And, you know, we got to clean it up all the way across the board from up front to the back end.
Well, Coach, something that we've noticed the past few weeks that has seemed like it has been cleaned up is the special teams play. Again, much better against Cornell. It seems as though they've come along over the course of the season.
They have. We're making progress. You know, I was particularly pleased with the improvement that our kickoff cover team showed on Saturday. We did a very good job of getting down the field and getting a returner on the ground, so I was happy to see that. You know, we've still got some things we've got to continue to work on and get better. We had the one extra point that somebody got a hand on, so, you know, we've got some work to do in a lot of areas, and hopefully we'll just keep making progress.
You know, Coach, we've kind of kept an eye all season. This is the 20th year of football. We've had that as our theme all year. Homecoming, always a big day, but will this Saturday be any different, being that it's not only the 20th season, but it is that this week's homecoming?
Well, I think we'll get a lot of former players back, you know, for 2 reasons. One, that it is homecoming, and number 2, that we have not been home in a while. So I think we'll get a lot of our former guys out here to see us play, to check out, you know, the 2012 edition of Monmouth football. And, you know, I love seeing those guys come back, and, you know, they're certainly a big part of what we are. And, you know, we'll get guys back from that very first team all the way up and through last year. So, you know, I'm excited to see a lot of their faces.
You know, Coach, and we'll get you out of here on this question. Now that it's strictly NEC play the rest of the way, has there been either a message or a theme that you want to get through to the team this week and then moving forward, knowing that if you handle your business in league play, you can still have a tremendous season?
Well, you know, we're you know, first of all, we want to have a winning record. Our goal at this beginning of the year is to win every conference game. Having another conference game this week, I think, you know, kind of reinforces those goals that we set in preseason. And we know that the NEC is a tough conference. And as I told you earlier, you know, each and every week you better play at your best to have an opportunity to win. And that's the approach that we're taking this week.
Well, Coach, good luck against Bryant this week. Congratulations on another homecoming coming up. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Eddie.
That's Monmouth University head football coach Kevin Callahan. This Saturday, homecoming, MU hosts Bryant at 1 p.m. right here at Kessler Field. I'm joined today by senior Monmouth quarterback Kyle Frazier. He enters his final homecoming game, as weird as that is, I'm sure, to hear, this Saturday when the Hawks host Bryant at 1 p.m. Kyle, you guys have been away from home for a while, a couple of road games, throw in the bye week. Before we talk about anything involving homecoming, how good is it going to be just to be able to play at Kessler Field again for the first time in a while?
It's going to feel good, definitely, to be back here. We've been on the road, like you said, the past 2 weeks. It just feel good to be back in front of a home crowd, get a lot of fans out there, especially since it's homecoming. So hopefully we can go ahead and put a show on for them.
Kyle, you guys come into a game this week. It is homecoming, as you mentioned. A couple of losses in a row. This is a big game for you guys in the Northeast Conference to get back on track and get back to your winning ways.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge game. We want to go ahead and come out and get a win. We've had 2 losses in a row, and of course it's an NEC game. The rest of the games here on out are NEC games, and we got to make sure that we win out, but we got to take care of business this week.
Is the attitude for the homecoming game any different? Obviously, it's just another home game as far as preparation goes, but knowing kind of the fanfare of the day and normally probably our best attendance of the year, how does the team kind of look forward to that game?
Well, I think it's huge. The team definitely is looking forward to this game, especially, just because we're coming off of 2 losses, we want to get back on track, but also because it's homecoming. Last year we didn't win on homecoming. We lost to Duquesne last year, so we want to come out and, show our fans that we can go ahead and win at home.
The offense, as we talk more specifically about the game, has really been playing well recently. Last week, rolling up all kinds of yards. You set a bunch of records, winning NEC Player of the Week for the 3rd time. How do you feel and how confident are you and is the offense moving forward, seemingly clicking on all cylinders?
I think the offense is definitely very confident. We know what we can do, but we just got to make sure every single week that we come out and execute what's given to us and execute the game plan, because when we are able to do that, we can go ahead and rack up the points and yards and all those stats, and that can help us out. But I think that the offense overall is very confident in what we can do.
Kyle, what's been the message this week, either from the coaching staffs, from the captains, as far as the rest of the season? You mentioned it. It's strictly NEC play from here on out. Is there a different focus? Is there anything that's been kind of a theme for the week?
Like I said, it's all NEC games from here on out. It's do or die. We got to go ahead and we got to win out, but first we got to take care of Bryant, and we want to get back on the right track this week.
And you mentioned Bryant, obviously in your preparation work for them, and you've played them every year that you've been here. They seem to be, they're always like a pesky defense. They are good tacklers. They do some things well. What do you see either from them or knowing that your offense can do that gives you confidence this week?
They're a good defense, like you said. They do a lot of different things on defense, bring a lot of pressure. So we're going to have to go ahead and pick that stuff up. But I think offensively, if we just do what we've been doing the past couple of weeks, we can go ahead and we'll be able to move the ball.
Kyle, final question. Always kind of to make it easy, maybe like a few bullet notes, a few keys to the game. If the offense specifically can do these couple of things, you should be successful against Bryant.
If the offense doesn't turn the ball over, I think that, we'll be successful. And I think if we just go ahead and we execute the game plan that Coach Van Zyl and the other coaches give us, we'll be successful too.
Well, Kyle, I appreciate the few minutes. I would say congratulations, good luck on everything. It's your final homecoming, though, so any thoughts for your final homecoming game here at Monmouth?
Just hopefully we can get a lot of fans out there and hopefully we can get the win for them.
Well, Kyle, thanks for a few minutes. I appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
That's Monmouth senior quarterback Kyle Frazier. The Hawks host Bryant this Saturday at 1 p.m. at Kessler Field on homecoming.